Namaskar, good evening. You're watching the NewsHour at 9 and I am Swati Joshi. Next week, the Parliament will discuss Pahalgam terror attack and Operation Sindoor. Centre has allotted 25 hours in all for the discussion to take place. 16 hours in Lok Sabha and 9 hours in Rajya Sabha. Well, the announcement comes on a very first day of the monsoon session amidst opposition's repeated calls for a debate on the military action between India and Pakistan and persistent onslaught that Modi Sarkar is trying to dodge accountability. The centre, however, does not seem on the defensive. In fact, the evasion line of attack was foiled by Prime Minister even before the House is convened. Let alone ducking, Prime Minister set the ruling alliance's tone, describing this sitting of parliamentarians as a Vijay Utsav, a celebration of Operation Sindoor victory, bringing spotlight firmly on the action that brought Pakistan to its knees. Listen it.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में भारत की सेना ने जो लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया था 100% अचीव किया। आतंकियों के आकाओं के घर में जाकर के 22 मिनट के भीतर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के तहत उसको जमींदोज कर दिया गया। कि देश ने एकता की ताकत देखी है, एक स्वर का सामर्थ्य क्या होता है देखा है, कि दल हित में मत भले न मिले लेकिन देश हित में मन जरूर मिले।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi may have expressed confidence that the MPs will articulate nationalistic sentiment in one voice, but inside the House, the opposition stuck to its track record of accusations and disruption. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi accused the acting chair of gagging him and silencing the opposition's voice, a claim that was termed a lie.
मैं लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन हूँ, मेरा हक है, तो मुझे तो कभी बोलना ही नहीं देते हैं। तो ये एक नया अप्रोच है। हाँ, सरकार चर्चा तो होगी, अगर वो अलाउ करेंगे तो होगी, मगर इशू ये है कि कन्वेंशन कहता है कि अगर सरकार के लोग कुछ बोलें तो हमें भी स्पेस मिलनी चाहिए। हम 2 शब्द कहना चाहते थे मगर विपक्ष को ये अलाउड नहीं।
Telling a lie. I think so. I was on chair.
Yes, sir.
I have appealed to Rahul Gandhi. Please kindly you ask to your own members to vacate the well and the house will be in the order. Certainly I will allow you.
तो चर्चा करें अगर तैयार हैं। अगर एलओपी को कुछ बोलना है 1 मिनट के लिए तो बोलने देना चाहिए। Adjournment motion. He was not allowed to speak today. He should be allowed to speak. He is the leader of the opposition.
ये भारत की संसद है। यहाँ विधि व्यवस्था, कानून, प्रक्रिया और परंपरा से सदन चलती है। ये राहुल गांधी जी और प्रियंका गांधी जी की निजी ड्राइंग रूम नहीं है। जब चाहे, जिसको चाहे, जिस प्रकार की भाषा से बात हो कर सकते।
Now, opposition says and wants people to believe that the centre is stonewalling a debate. But is that the truth? Because from Parliamentary Affairs Minister to Lok Sabha Chair, from Defence Minister to Leader of House in Rajya Sabha, all agreed with opposition's legitimate demands.
सरकार तो रेडी है चर्चा के लिए। अपना दम लेकर के आप लोग चर्चा कीजिए, हम वेलकम करते हैं। हंगामा मत कीजिए, मैं अपील करना चाहता हूँ।
इस रक्षा से संबंधित जिस विषय पर वो चर्चा चाहते हैं, जितनी भी बड़ी चर्चा चाहते हैं, जितने घंटे की भी चर्चा चाहते हैं, जैसा भी आपके द्वारा अथवा स्पीकर महोदय के द्वारा तय किया जाएगा, उसके तहत हम चर्चा करने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार।
इस हाउस को, इस हाउस के माध्यम से देश में कहीं यह संदेश नहीं जाना चाहिए कि सरकार पहलगाम और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर चर्चा नहीं चाहती। हम चर्चा करेंगे, हर तरीके से करेंगे।
Now, legitimate demand is the operative word here because a close scrutiny of Congress-led opposition's demands tends to expose their facile nature. They wanted a discussion on Operation Sindoor, and as you heard, not one voice from the ruling dispensation has an objection to it. Congress has been adamant on a debate on the issue on day one itself, while at the same time persistently seeking Prime Minister Modi's presence as well. Now, we all know that the Prime Minister is on a tour of the UK and Maldives from the 23rd to the 26th of July. So how did they expect their demands to be met? Now that the discussion has been slotted for some time next week, sources tell Times Now that it will make Prime Minister's presence in the parliament feasible? And finally, the centre has completely defanged running away attack by reserving 25 hours for an exhaustive interaction on the floor of the House. And that brings me to the legitimate question that we are asking tonight. Has Modi Sarkar defanged the evasion charge? The opposition's evasion charge, has that been defined by the Modi government? Let's open this up and go across to our guests.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
We are joined by Shazia Almi, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Tushar Gupta, political analyst, joins us on the panel along with Professor Jyotsna Trinagri, national spokesperson of the TDP. We have author Sanjay Jha as well on the panel. Ravi Shankar Ravi, national spokesperson of the RJD, joins us. And we also have Anand Dubey, national spokesperson, Shiv Sena, UBT. Good evening to all of you. Let me in fact first come to you, Anand Dubey ji. Opposition के हर एक मांग को सरकार ने स्वीकार कर लिया, या एक तरीका कहने का ये भी है that all the attacks have been blunted by the government. तो क्या अब ये माने कि अब हंगामा नहीं होगा? क्या अब ये माने कि अब संसद सुचारू रूप से चल पाएगी?
स्वाति जी नमस्ते। एक उल्टी बात करते हैं, ये क्यों नहीं कहते कि विपक्ष ने सरकार की सब बात मान ली है? जब हमारे देश पर संकट आया, विपक्ष ने एक सुर में खड़े होकर कहा कि हम सरकार के साथ हैं। जब घरेलू राजनीति होगी, सड़क से संसद तक बहस कर लेंगे। अब मामला देश का है, आइए अपने देश के साथ खड़े होते हैं, अपने देश की सरकार के साथ खड़े होते हैं। जो कड़े से कड़ा कदम उठाना है आप उठाइए। सब कुछ ठीक ठाक चल रहा था, हमने पाकिस्तान को सबक सिखाना शुरू कर दिया, उनके आतंकवादी ठिकानों को नष्ट नाबूद करना शुरू कर दिया। अचानक सीज फायर की घोषणा हो जाती, उसके बाद से पूरा विपक्ष यही पूछता है कि भाई ये तो बात नहीं हुई थी, बात तो हुई थी देश के सम्मान के लिए लड़ मरेंगे, मर मिटेंगे, कोई तीसरा व्यक्ति आके हस्तक्षेप कैसे कर रहा है? खैर उसको भी छोड़िए। हमने कहा कि एक स्पेशल सेशन लाइए, आपने उस पर भी बात नहीं की। हमने कहा कि चलो अब 21 तारीख से संसद का सत्र शुरू हो, आइए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर बात करते। एक बात कोई क्यों नहीं कह रहा पूरे देश में कि क्या विपक्षी बार बार सहेगा? सरकार खुला दिल करके बात नहीं करेगी, सरकार डायलॉग नहीं करेगी, सरकार ये नहीं बताएगी कि मनोज सिन्हा साहब कह रहे हैं कि हाँ सुरक्षा की चूक हुई थी, सरकार ये नहीं बताएगी कि ऑपरेशन सिंदूर अभी जारी है, तो चार आतंकवादी कहां चले गए?
आनंद दुबे जी, मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि ऑपोजिशन, मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि इन 25 घंटों में ऑपोजिशन हर एक मुद्दे को उठाएगा। लेकिन जब आप कहते हैं कि विपक्ष ने कहा था कि हम सरकार के साथ हैं, तो फिर हमने क्यों इस तरह के बयान सुने आनंद दुबे जी की छुटपुट घटना है, 4 प्लेन वहां गए और वो लौट करके आ गए? ये बताइए कि वाकई कितनी लाशें वहां पर गिनी थी? नहीं, अब सुन लीजिए ना आनंद दुबे जी, सुन लीजिए, मेरी बात सुन लीजिए। फॉलो अप क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ। जब आप ये कहते हैं कि विपक्ष साथ खड़ा था, तो विपक्ष उसी वक्त जब ऑपरेशन पूरा नहीं भी हुआ था तब क्रिटिसाइज कर रहा था। खैर इसको आप छोड़ दीजिए, मैं कह रही हूं 25 घंटों का जो समय मिला है, इसमें विपक्ष हर एक सवाल उठाएगा। इसका मतलब यह कि सरकार भाग तो नहीं रही ना, उन 25 घंटों में आपके सवालों का जवाब तो देगी ना संसद में।
जब सरकार ने कहा कि सभी दलों से 1-2 नेता हम विदेश भेजेंगे ताकि पाकिस्तान के मंसूबों को दुनिया के सामने खोल के रखते कि वो आतंकवाद का केंद्र बिंदु है, सभी नेता गए उसमें, मतलब हम सरकार के साथ खड़े थे। लेकिन जब हम ये पूछते हैं कि हमारे देश में जब हमारी संसद का सत्र चलेगा, लाखों लोगों ने वोट देकर सांसदों को चुना है, सांसद को जानने का अधिकार है कि हमारी सीमा सुरक्षा की क्या स्थिति है, हमारे देश का जो इस समय राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा है वो किस स्थिति में, तो क्या इस पर बहस नहीं होगी? नेता प्रतिपक्ष कहते हैं कि अगर प्रधानमंत्री महत्वपूर्ण है तो नेता प्रतिपक्ष को क्या आप बिल्कुल गंभीरता से लेने को तैयार नहीं है? हम मानते हैं कि चलो डोनाल्ड ट्रंप राष्ट्रपति नहीं है, वो अमेरिका के पार्षद हैं, हम उनको गंभीरता से लेने को भी तैयार नहीं है। लेकिन अगर 24 बार एक राष्ट्रपति के पद पर बैठा हुआ कोई बाहरी आदमी हमारे देश के बारे में बार बार ये कहे
ये सारे सवाल आप उठाएंगे, ये सारे सवाल आप उठाएंगे फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस पे,
सवाल पूछेगा,
ये सारे सवाल आप उठाएंगे फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस पर, और सारी प्रोसीडिंग्स जो होती है ऑन कैमरा होती है, पूरा देश देखेगा कि उस वक्त सरकार उस पर क्या जवाब देगी। लेकिन क्योंकि आपने डेलीगेशन की बात की आनंद दुबे जी, some in the delegation, Anand Dubey ji, some in the delegation had to face criticism of being a super spokesperson of the BJP. वो खैर हमारी डिबेट नंबर 2 है, लेकिन मैं शाजिया अल्मी के पास जाना चाहती हूँ। शाजिया अल्मी, you do not want the opposition to speak, you're suppressing their voice. Rahul Gandhi said he is the leader of the opposition, he has every right to speak, but you're not allowing him to speak. You're running away from the tough questions that the opposition wants to ask you on Pahalgam.
Namaskar and adab, Swati, to all of your panelists and to all the viewers. I think it's a matter of great shame, and Congress has once again cut a sorry figure by exposing their own mindset, their anti-India mentality, their need to undermine Indian sovereignty and Indian strength, and they have done it once again. They are speaking for Pakistan. It is only too obvious that they want those questions to be asked, that Pakistan as a wants the Sino-Pakistan sleeper cell, wants the trolls to speak, and this is exactly what they're asking of, and they've shown it on the parliament too. Now, if they're so keen even to ask some questions, and Rahul Gandhi feels very hurt and indignant, doesn't Rahul Gandhi know any better that you have to have a notice if you want to speak on an issue? What stopped them from learning basic procedure? Does it not smack of arrogance? Was any prior notice given by him to speak on the subject? And it is very clear, and just as the speaker made it very obvious, that there would be discussion on the subject. You had to vacate the well, follow procedure, give a notice, and speak. Now, on the other hand, BJP has insisted and agreed upon 25 hours of the debate on the issue. All the matters that are being talked about would have been heard threadbare, point by point. Though I ideally feel they should not be. And this is exactly what Nadda ji said, that, discussing the minutiae, the operational minutiae of Operation Sindoor, besides the fact that Prime Minister mentioned about those 22 minutes and how they wreaked havoc and raised the house of the terror havens and where the terrorists resided. But besides that, giving details would not be a wise thing to do. And that itself is outside the scope.
But Shazia, the allegation is that you should have taken an initiative before the ruckus and commotion. And the allegation is that the opposition has to do hangama inside the house so that the government hears them.
Exactly. So if they're so committed to hangama, and that's the point they want to create by even lying, because even earlier Rahul Gandhi has said that he's not allowed to speak. His mic is muted, to which both the speakers of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha have taken it very, very seriously and said there is no such thing that has happened, and that is indeed just undermining the democratic institutions and the working of the parliament. Very clearly. And once again, to put up that lie and to create that atmosphere and to bring down the name of Indian democracy and the parliamentary norms, once again, opposition screamed, knowing very well that the 25 hours would suffice to discuss everything, even matters that should not be discussed.
So you're saying that the opposition is running away from a discussion. Okay. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, has the government punctured the entire narrative that it is evading the Pahalgam debate and a debate on Operation Sindoor, because the government says 25 hours have been allotted now?
Swati, this government has got 4 flat tires. It's a flat tire government. They have no audacity to puncture anybody. And I'm constrained to restrain my laughter. Today, the BJP spokesperson with a straight face talks about democracy.
I'm laughing already.
I hope your viewers are aware that today the Supreme Court has said, and this is the Supreme Court of India, has told the ED, the famous ally of the BJP, the alliance partner of the BJP, stop fighting political battles on behalf of this government. Clearly, this is a BJP, and Mr. Modi's government is the most insecure, frightened party in the world, which is why they resort to attacking the opposition. I mean, Shazia Almi is a seasoned and mostly a reasonable argumentative spokesperson. But to use the word anti-national shames the BJP. You are insulting the 235 MPs in parliament and all the people who have voted, which is around 42% of the people who have voted for the 230 MPs. You're calling them all anti-national. Hang your head in shame, because you are cowards, you are kayar. You can't take questions. You accuse the opposition. And here are, Swati, 2 short points. This government has no credibility, and I'll tell you why. As my dear friend Anand Dubey ji already mentioned, can you imagine a government that has allowed a third party intervention to happen on the military ceasefire. They can go on and on about saying, but we did not agree to Donald Trump. Donald Trump put it out on X, and then the Indian government or the military said we are having a ceasefire. Why? Why is Donald Trump announcing that we buckled under a trade deal?
Is it possible? Is it possible that the Donald Trump administration learnt of this conversation between the DGMOs of India and Pakistan from the Pakistani side?
Well, let me tell you, Donald Trump announced the ceasefire. Everything followed thereafter. Point number two, how is it that Donald Trump is aware of how many jets went down? Because General Chauhan had to say that in Singapore. You had an Indian military attaché from Indonesia who said that the Indian political leadership took certain tactically wrong decisions, which is why jets went down. I mean, this government is opaque and misleading its own people. But Donald Trump seems to know everything in advance. Why is Mr. Modi's government become a puppet of the United States of America?
But he did say that jets came down.
Government in history.
Yes, he did say jets came down, but whose jets? He never mentioned that. Let me also remind you, Sanjay Jha, that the CBI was called a caged parrot. Now, that's another debate entirely. Let me bring in Tushar Gupta. Tushar Gupta, this government has bowed down to Trump administration. That's the allegation. When the opposition wants to raise that, the leader of opposition is gagged. He's not allowed to speak. In short, this government is really scared of answering any question on all aspects of Operation Sindoor.
Good evening, Swati. Point number one, frightened parties are those that kick out spokesperson just when they criticize the party, constructive criticism for the party a little bit, and they kick them out for one complete decade. So that's how a frightened party is described. Sanjay Jha would very well understand which that party is. Point number two, you very well pointed out that when Trump says 5 jets has been downed, he did not specifically mention that these are Indian jets. But somehow people in the opposition and their promoters in TV and social media have assumed that these are Indian jets, even when there were images of a Pakistani pilot's funeral all over social media. So that tells you what the real intent of the opposition is, just to prove that India was somehow on the back foot after Operation Sindoor. Point number 3. About Operation Sindoor, there are a lot of details that are already in the public. The kind of terror targets that were hit, the kind of military targets that were hit, the kind of operational and strategic importance that had. For instance, Kargil. That's also used as an operational base by the Chinese Air Force. But do you see the opposition bringing up these issues? Absolutely not, because point number 4, the opposition in its approach to Operation Sindoor is absolutely dishonest. They do not want the operation or the strategic understanding of Operation Sindoor, or what kind of precedent it sets for the future, or what kind of weaponry was used, or what kind of weaponry we breached in Pakistan, or what Pakistan was doing while it was launching missiles, say, on Harmandir Sahib in Amritsar. They don't want any of that. What they want to prove in the floor of the House is that somehow Indians came out on the back foot. And about Donald Trump, since everyone seems to be parroting the narrative of Donald Trump in the White House sat with Zelensky and J.D. Vance and said, Zelensky doesn't hold any cards. That was a live meeting the world saw. Look at where Russia and Ukraine are
but Tushar Gupta, the opposition keeps reminding the government that while Donald Trump is, claiming that he was the one who got India and Pakistan to talk about a ceasefire arrangement, nobody from the government, that's the opposition's charge, nobody from the government took Donald Trump head on.
No, there was a briefing by the Foreign Secretary, and yes, probably the Prime Minister has to address that in the upcoming session of the Parliament, rather the ongoing session. But please understand, Donald Trump even doesn't hold any credibility for the wars his country is actively involved in. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. He announced a ceasefire between Iran and Israel, but the tensions in the Middle East continue to be on a peak high.
Yes.
So why is the opposition taking Donald Trump so seriously? I do not understand, and that brings me to my final point.
Okay.
They are not interested in the operational details of Operation Sindoor, how our response has evolved in the last decade, none of it. They just want to prove that somehow India came out on the back foot, and I really wonder why they want to do that.
Okay, I want to bring in Ravi Shankar. Ravi Shankar ji, Is that the intention of the opposition? Because if the Prime Minister was scared or the government was scared, why would the Prime Minister, before the session began, himself spoke about Operation Sindoor? Why would the government allot 25 hours for an exhaustive debate and a discussion on Operation Sindoor? Or is it that the opposition is now on the back foot because you thought perhaps the discussion will never happen, you will be able to, keep mounting pressure? How do you look at it?
Swati, first of all, it's been 90 days since the terror attack in Pahalgam took place. The Prime Minister can brief the media outside the parliament, but he cannot speak on the floor of the House. My point is, hyper-nationalism, jingoism, national security have been the political plank of the BJP. When this issue of national security has to be discussed, I think they themselves should come up with this issue for discussion on the floor of the House rather than when opposition demanding it and they agreeing to it. And also, two incidents I want to remind. One, that the security lapse took place, it was admitted. Secondly, forget about what President Donald Trump is saying. One captain from our armed forces, Captain Shiv Kumar, in a conference which took place in Jakarta, Indonesia on 10th of June, and it was the conference was on analysis of the Pakistan-India air battle and Indonesia's anticipatory strategies, in which Captain Shiv Kumar admitted that few jet planes crashed. And also there were some constraints because of the political compulsions, and later on they had to change the strategies. I mean, when such things are in the knowledge of people, then on the very first day of the session, I think the government itself should take up this issue for discussion rather than sign away.
Okay, can you repeat the name that you took? Captain Kumar? Captain
Shiv Kumar.
Captain Shiv Kumar.
Shiv Kumar. It was reported on, I think, July 1st July in Indian Express and a few other newspapers also.
And okay, Shahzal, one second. Allow him to finish and I'll come to you for a quick rebuttal.
Swati, if I may come in briefly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
ma'am, very quickly.
Just a 20-second intervention.
Okay,
all I need. I think the NSA Ajit Doval's challenge, an open challenge, asking for evidence is a big slap on propaganda. And this he has asked and said, all those who are casting aspersions on our armed forces and our mission in which we succeeded, and all those who are doubting it should come up with some kind of evidence to show that this has not happened. Just like Tushar has just mentioned about what Donald Trump said, a man who is a low credibility man, is known to shoot off his mouth, is now become the sole arbiter of of fate of our armed forces, and we will follow the claims of Trump than anything else. So the Congress party would not want to believe the DGMO, the NSA, the Raksha Mantri and our armed forces, but which much rather go with dubious tweets of some foreign journalists and want to amplify enemy propaganda, and yes, also make Donald Trump the statements as gospel truth. I think it is being done deliberately to make the country look weak in all their nasty hatred and helplessness that they feel towards Narendra Modi.
I see that Sanjay Jha and Tushar Gupta both want to come in, but very quickly I want to go across to Professor Jyotsna Trinagri. Professor Trinagri, the opposition says the government itself should have taken an initiative. On day one itself, there should have been a debate, but it just goes on to show the government does not want to have a debate on that, and that's why, the opposition had to resort to what it did to today.
Swati, I have some very genuine concerns, I would say. First and foremost, opposition wasn't a part of the delegation that was sent outside the country to talk about Operation Sindoor? Weren't they part of it? Congress MPs didn't go there, or other parties MPs who were a part of Indie bloc, didn't they go there? So they must be having some info, some genuine info about Operation Sindoor, right? First and foremost. Second thing, our government, NDA government, doesn't budge. We do not go behind anyways for any questions. We don't evade questions. I'll give you a small example here. In Rajya Sabha today, our own Minister of Civil Aviation, the youngest minister of our country, of our government, Shri Ramohan Naidu ji, very categorically answered each and every question that was posed to him. You pose questions properly, protocol follow करके आप करो, क्यों नहीं करेंगे? हम बैठे ही वहाँ पे, हम सेशंस को जब बुलाते हैं, when we said 25 hours of deliberations on Operation Sindoor, we are not going away, right? We are not evading the questions, right? As I said, we are here to answer. As government, we are here to answer. But if you want to do drama, then definitely we also know how to nib away the drama in the initial stage itself.
Okay.
It's not drama because it's about the emotions of the people. It's about the respect of our armed forces. We have to respect that, Swati. We have to respect that. Everybody walks in and says, everybody takes a mic and say that, "Arey, ye to chutput tha, ye to kuch aur tha." They don't even have the minimum respect on our armed forces. Forget about Modi ji, forget about NDA, forget about the government. It's not the government which has fought the battle, right? It's the armed forces. We have to give that respect to them. When they came out and very categorically said that this is what has happened, then you should have that minimum courtesy to accept that. And everybody talks about Donald Trump. Everybody talks about Donald Trump. मैं एक छोटा example देती हूँ स्वाति आपको. You know what happens is, whenever one of our friend or one of our enemy, whoever it is, they excel, we tend to say that, अरे मेरा भी उसमें भागीदारी है, मेरा भी उसमें भागीदारी है. That is some attention seeking thing. I don't want to talk about it. But my point is, you believe our armed forces, you believe our defense minister, you believe our external affairs minister, because they are our government.
Okay, all right.
लड़ना है चार दीवारों के बीच में लड़ेंगे.
चार दीवारों के बीच में लड़िए.
चार दीवारों के बीच में लड़ेंगे.
ठीक है.
Not at the cost of the.
But now the opposition is saying, Professor Tirunagari, कि हो गया ceasefire arrangement. Now we want to ask the government some tough questions. Sanjay Jha, then Tushar Gupta.
Yeah.
Sanjay Jha, then Tushar Gupta.
Yeah. Quickly, I'll try and be very
here
brief.
to answer.
First, excuse me, ma'am. Please do not interrupt when I talk.
Okay.
Please do not interrupt other people. I didn't interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Number one, since they are now suddenly becoming very critical of Donald Trump, may I remind the viewers that Mr. Modi and the BJP campaigned for the Republican candidate Abki Bar Trump Sarkar. They actually campaigned for Donald Trump. Can you imagine? Now they're doing a U-turn because they're very embarrassed. But Swati, here are 5 fundamental questions that need to be answered. Where are the terrorists? Because this is the 4th month. And this government is so incompetent, they have no idea. What a shame. Number 2, how is it that Pakistan became the UN Security Council's vice chairmanship for counter-terrorism? How is it that General Munir, not even the head of state, is sitting and having a long lunch with President Donald Trump in the White House, who says that Pakistan is a great friend and a fantastic ally? Number 4, Pakistan becomes the chairman of the Taliban Sanctions Committee, and India's external affairs minister is only demonstrating a lot of fury and dialogue. Pakistan gets an IMF loan, and this government is not capable of stopping everything. And Swati, a very important point that people don't know about. In the statement by Quad, by SCO, by BRICS, they have all condemned terrorism. Nobody mentioned Pakistan by name. We stand diplomatically isolated under the most, in my opinion, hypocritical, frightened, cowardly, and incompetent government in our political history.
But Sanjay, then do I have to remind you of what the US has just done recently with the proxy of Lashkar-e-Taiba? that initially claimed responsibility for the Pahalgam attack?
Has been having a bounty in the head of Hafiz Saeed for a long time. Please do not take these cosmetic, symbolism.
So
too
that I should
seriously.
not take seriously. But whatever Donald Trump is saying about brokering peace should be taken seriously. Tushar Gupta, Pakistan boasted that it got the UN to drop the reference of TRF from that statement, and then it was designated. It was called a foreign terrorist organization by US. So that has no importance. That holds no importance.
Can I ask you?
Cosmetic symbolism.
It's selective focus.
Pakistan
Swati.
was
You know
out
what
of
is
the-
cowardice? Cowardice is what we saw between 2004 and 14, what we saw after Mumbai 26/11 attacks, when the government of the day had absolutely no spine to respond to Pakistan. That was what cowardice is. And somehow the promoters of that party, that government, continue to this day sit on television and defend that cowardice. I find it absolutely appalling. Nevertheless, I know in the upcoming parliament session and the discussion on Operation Sindoor, my sort of worry is that the opposition is not interested on key points. They are not interested in the military hardware, how it has evolved, because that is something that concerns the opposition as well. They are not worried about the Indus-Water Treaty, where do we go from here, or the failure of the Congress to respond pre-2014 and how it can be done better in the future, and the targets that were hit and the strategic importance. And most importantly, who were the people who were calling for de-escalation? Who were these people? Which party did they belong to? Which ecosystem did they belong to that were calling for India to de-escalate when Pakistan was raining missiles on a city? I think these are the questions opposition should be rather concerning themselves with, instead of focusing on what Donald Trump said, on who's
No, but the opposition has
not.
a right to question. The opposition has a right to question why is Donald Trump, and who is Donald Trump to say that he brokered peace? And Anand Dubey, I want to come back to that point कि जब ये 25 घंटे, जिसमें से कुछ घंटे जो है बहस लोकसभा में होगी और डिस्कशन राज्यसभा में भी होगा, तो मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि ऑपोजिशन जो है वो डोनाल्ड ट्रंप से लेकर के कितने प्लेन्स गिराए गए, इससे लेकर के सीज फायर के अरेंजमेंट क्यों हुआ, पहल किसने की, किसने बात की, डोनाल्ड ट्रंप का क्या रोल था, क्या नहीं था, ये सारे ऑपोजिशन सवाल उठाएगा। ये जानते हुए भी सरकार कह रही है कि भाई 25 घंटे हमने दिए इस पर बहस हो, तो भाग कहां से वो रही है और डर वो कहां से गई है?
नहीं, आपने बहुत अच्छा सवाल पूछा। आप इस सवाल जो विपक्ष से पूछ रही हैं, यही सवाल आपको सरकार से पूछना चाहिए कि क्या विपक्ष आपके साथ समन्वय बनाने को तैयार नहीं है क्या? अरे भाग कौन रहा है? सवाल हम पूछ रहे हैं, हमें बोल रही है कि विपक्ष भाग रहा है। यही तो हास्यास्पद है कि सदन चलाने की जिम्मेदारी सरकार में बैठे लोगों की है। क्या सरकार ने कभी विपक्ष को विश्वास में लेने की कोशिश की? क्या सरकार ने कभी कहा
सर, जो ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग हुआ था वो क्या था?
आइए हम आपके साथ खड़े, बताइए आपकी क्या क्या मांगे हैं, क्या क्या प्रश्न है, क्या क्या आपके विषय हैं? जब
सर पहलगाम के वक्त जो ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग हुआ था वो क्या था? कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग मेजर नहीं था?
आप पहले दिन ही 10 मिनट में पूरा विषय खत्म कर दिया आपने। तो हमें नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं कि सवाल आप पूछ किससे रही हैं? अरे भाई हमारे पास जिम्मेदारी है क्या? आप लिखिए, आप गजट निकालिए।
कहां विषय खत्म हुआ सर?
जिम्मेदारी है
1 मिनट विषय 10 मिनट में कहां खत्म हुआ? अभी तो 25 घंटे ये पूरा विषय चलेगा। और जगदंबिका पाल जी ने, अगर उस सीक्वेंस को मैं प्ले करूं, वक्त मिलेगा तो करूंगी। जगदंबिका पाल जी इसमें बार बार ये कह रहे हैं कि मैं आपको बोलने का मौका दूंगा, 0 आवर है, मैं चाहता हूं कि हर कोई बोले, लेकिन अपने एमपीज को आप पीछे हटने के लिए बोलिए, वेल ऑफ द हाउस से बाहर निकलने के लिए बोलिए। चर्चा हम भी चाहते हैं। और बैकग्राउंड में आप सुनेंगे तो लगातार हंगामा हो रहा है। चलिए हंगामा शब्द का भी इस्तेमाल नहीं कर रही, मैं कह रही हूं कि ऑपोजिशन लगातार अपनी मांगों को उठा रहा है। चेयर कह रहा है कि आप पीछे जाने कहिए अपने सांसदों को, उस पर चर्चा होगी, मैं आपको बोलने का मौका दूंगा। तो कौन चर्चा नहीं होने देना चाह रहा, कौन एक दूसरे को नहीं बोलने देना चाह रहा?
11 साल का इनका जो इतिहास है, इसमें खास करके जो 5 साल से विपक्ष जो विषय लेकर आता है भाग जाते, बहस करते। अरे ये सरकार में बैठे किस लिए बैठे? क्या ये विपक्ष को बोलने नहीं देंगे, या ये फिर बोल दें कि नहीं विपक्ष अब बात नहीं करेगा, केवल हम बात करेंगे? अरे हमारे जो कठोर हमारे प्रश्न है उसका जवाब आपको देना पड़ेगा। अगर एलजी साहब कह रहे हैं, सिन्हा साहब, कि ये हमारे राज्य सरकार या हमारे सरकार की चूक है, तो चूक को मानना पड़ेगा ना। कैसे चूक हुई? कहां गए वो 4 आतंकवादी? आज तीसरा महीना होने आ गया, कल तीसरा महीना आएगा। अगर विपक्ष पूछ रहा है कि आंतरिक सुरक्षा नाम का कोई चीज होता है,
मैं तो आपको यही कह रही हूं कि आपको मौका मिलेगा 25 घंटों में सवाल पूछने का। बट आनंद दुबे जी, I'm just interrupting you there for a while. We have some breaking inputs coming in, and this is what we are given to understand. Jagdeep Dhankad has resigned as the Vice President of India, citing health reasons. He has written a letter. He's just apprised the President about it. He says to prioritize healthcare and abide by medical advice. He has resigned as the Vice President of India, effective immediately in accordance with Article 67A of the Constitution. He then also talks about extending his gratitude to the Honorable President of India for unwavering support and the soothing, wonderful working relationship we maintained during my tenure. Jagdeep Dhankar has resigned, citing health reasons. We have Pragya joining us on the broadcast, also Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan. Let me first go across to Pragya very quickly. Big news coming in. Jagdeep Dhankar has cited health reasons for his resignation.
Absolutely, and this has been going for quite some time. In fact, Mr. Dhankar has been not keeping well, and in fact, he has also spoken about this. And this is the reason why he has resigned today. His health must have been taken a toll. We have seen how he has been admitted in the previous session, before the previous session, in fact. And despite all of the ailments, he came to the office and attended the parliament session. And it must be this time that he needs to prioritize his health and need to be abide by the medical advice.
Right.
Must have felt some inconvenience also while attending the office. And this is the reason why he decided that he should put in his papers and also focus on his health.
All right, Pragya, stay on with us. Let me quickly also go across to Madhav for more on the content of that letter. Madhav, also the monsoon session is underway. So what next?
Well, actually, it's quite interesting because just about 3 years ago, in August 2022 is when, in fact, he had become the vice president. And here, that was just after the monsoon session. And now, during the course of the monsoon session, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar citing health reasons as the reason for him stepping down, thanking the Prime Minister and others for this, for their cooperation as well. And of course, also talking about the important role that these last 3 years have played. But remember that Jagdeep Dhankar's stepping down, citing health reasons is something that's quite unusual. At least in recent memory, there has been perhaps no example of a vice president stepping down, citing health as a reason for being unable to go ahead with his constitutional duties. And in that sense, Dhankar, who had about 2 years left of his tenure as vice president, and of course also functions, given the kind of post as vice president, as a Rajya Sabha chairman, and that is very much part of our constitutional mandate. In that sense, plays a very important role in the functioning of parliament. So during the course of a parliament session, the fact that he is choosing to step down is seen as quite significant. One must also remember that there have been many controversies during the tenure of Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar. Of course, it has always been a situation where you have members of opposition, who have talked about whether the person sitting in chair has been fair to them or not. But in the case of Mr. Dhankar, we have seen many such controversies as well. So quite interesting to see the fact that Mr. Dhankar is stepping down at a time when the parliament monsoon session is currently underway, and a very significant one where, of course, the opposition itself is poised to take up very many issues and a lot of important legislative work and business that is scheduled to come up during the course of this particular session as well.
Right. Pragya and Madhav, thank you for getting us the details. Let me quickly take that across to our guests as well. Shazia Ilmi, was there any conversation, any chatter about this? Has this come as a surprise to everyone?
Yes, indeed. I just learnt of it, and indeed, this is very shocking. I think Dhankar ji would have good reasons as to why he has chosen to write this and concentrate on his medical issues, and I think it should be respected, his decision.
All right, let me bring in Tushar Gupta as well. Well, the monsoon session has just started. Tushar Gupta, now, of course, what next is going to be the big question?
I think the Deputy Chairman, Harivansh Narayan Singh, will take on. That's the constitutional mandate that we have. But the health reasons, I mean, these were in the reports for quite some time, just that no one saw the resignation coming, not on the first day of the monsoon session. Probably someone would have thought this would come in between sessions. But yes, you have to respect the decision of the former vice president. You have to respect the call he's taken. But one has to admit that he has been one of the best Rajya Sabha chairmen in recent times. He took both the opposition and the government together. There was a lot of banter that used to go on in the upper house of the parliament. So yes, he will obviously be missed in the parliament, but of course one wishes him good health. But from here on, I think it will be the deputy chairman everyone would be focused on.
एब्सोल्युटली। लेट मी ऑल्सो ब्रिंग इन आनंद दुबे। आनंद दुबे जी, तुषार गुप्ता कह रहे थे, बैंटर के बारे में वो बात कर रहे थे, एक्सचेंज जो हुआ करता था सांसदों और जगदीप धनखड़ के बीच, हेल्थ रीजंस उन्होंने साइट किए। पहले तो आपकी प्रतिक्रिया इस पर, क्योंकि मॉनसून सेशन की अभी शुरुआत ही हुई है और शाजियल भी कह रही थी कि कई लोगों को ये एक तरीके से शॉक भी लगा है, सरप्राइज भी हैं कई लोग कि उन्होंने अपने पद से इस्तीफा दे दिया है। लेकिन ऑपोजिशन का अपना एक टेक रहा, कई लोग उनकी मिमिक्री करते हुए भी संसद के प्रेमिसेस में नजर आए। ऑपोजिशन हमेशा बड़ा क्रिटिकल रहा है।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं। देखिए, वो हमारे देश के उपराष्ट्रपति हैं और एक चेयर को हेड करते हैं, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सब उनका अपमान ही करते। इक्का दुक्का विषय को अगर आप हटा दें तो सभी उनका सम्मान करते हैं। हम खुद बहुत दुखी हैं कि उन्होंने अगर ऐसी चिट्ठी लिखी है कि वो सेवा से दूर जाना चाहते हैं उनके हेल्थ को लेकर, तो पहले तो हम अपनी संवेदना उनके साथ प्रकट करते हैं कि भाई हम आपके साथ हैं, आपकी तबीयत जो भी है हम आपके साथ हैं, पहली चीज। दूसरी चीज की देखिए, विपक्ष या सरकार में बैठे लोग जब बहस करते हैं तो कभी जाने अनजाने किसी का मन दुख जाता है तो उसके लिए तुरंत वहीं क्षमा भी मांग लेते हैं, और वो बड़े दिल के व्यक्ति हैं, वो क्षमा भी किए हैं। तो ऐसा नहीं कि इसको आप पूरे विपक्ष को कटघरे में खड़ी कर दें कि विपक्ष की वजह से वो इस्तीफा दे रहे हैं।
नहीं, मैंने ऐसा नहीं कहा, मैंने ऐसा नहीं कहा, बिल्कुल भी नहीं। ये गलत बात है आनंद दुबे जी। मैंने एक बार भी नहीं कहा कि विपक्ष की वजह से इस्तीफा दिया। मैंने कहा विपक्ष का अपना एक टेक रहा है उनको लेकर के। हमने उनकी नकल करते हुए सांसदों को संसद के संसद के परिसर में भी देखा है। मैं आपकी केवल राय उस पर जानना चाह रही थी। मैंने ये कभी नहीं कहा कि विपक्ष की वजह से रिजाइन किया। इनफैक्ट आई वाज वेरी क्लियर दैट ही साइटेड हेल्थ रीजंस। आनंद दुबे जी,
मैं वही कह रहा हूं कि अगर किसी ने किसी की नकल कर दी तो क्या उससे दुखी हो जाते हैं लोग खुश होते हैं?
नहीं, वो तो दुखी हुए थे, वो दुखी हुए थे इस पर। उन्होंने कहा भी था, उस पर काफी शार्प रिएक्शन भी उनका आया था। लेट मी ब्रिंग इन मिस्टर राजगोपालन। मिस्टर राजगोपालन, हाउ डू यू सी दिस डेवलपमेंट?
It's a very, very shocking one. Is there any, ill feelings within the government or within the top presiding officers? Was there today? He was also addressing the Rajya Sabha by saying that direct tax code is going to be introduced in Rajya Sabha. He was very proud of it. Swati, my only concern is, who is going to succeed Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar? Within 15 days, you have to elect the Vice President of India. Will there be, is it connected with BJP's presidentship? Is there, Rajnath Singh will be made as Deputy Speaker, or Nirmala Sitharaman will be made as the Speaker? Who is the Deputy Speaker? And moreover, out of that 5, because Cabinet Committee on Security is the most powerful, committee in the Union Cabinet setup. Out of these 5, I am very sure one will be selected as the Vice President of India, because they know the system. And for the last 2-3 days, there were a lot of, speculations, not about Jagdeep Dhankar, but something big was happening. Because the moment Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Madam Draupadi Murmu, President of India, that day was also a speculation, but not about Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar. And moreover, he was with, aplomb, he performed his duty. He was the best spokesperson for the government of India, either on the judges or on taking on the opposition or even pulling up the government side. Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, he was giving much relief to Madam Mamata Banerjee when he was shifted out of governor of West Bengal to Vice President of India. Hemanta Biswa Sarma negotiated and brought him here. Now, from that day onwards to today, what is that happening between President, Vice President? We were all expecting 2027 will be a major, turning point in Indian side, because third time.
So, are you saying stand by for more such big developments to take place? Are you also speculating at this point of time, or you already have some inside information on who next?
Oh, it must be a lady. I am very sure. This time will be a lady, and Nari Shaktito, Vice President of India, plus presiding officer of that. It will be also very interesting choice what Mr. Narendra Modi is going to say. Now he will be thinking tomorrow he is leaving for USA, UK, and Maldives. But despite that, he must have some confabulations. This is very, very serious matter. sitting vice president resigning for the first time in the history of vice presidentship, I'm also sure he would have discussed with President and Prime Minister and Amit Shah and others, leader of the opposition, leader of the parliament, JP Nadda and Mallikarjun Kharge. He would have taken them into confidence. He is a real politician. I have known them when he was Minister of State, since then.
Right.
Very, very gentleman. He was Supreme Court lawyer and he has been very... Of course, health is a major problem. He was also, about to fall down.
Yes.
And he was
Yes.
picked up. So these are all certain things we go by.
So that's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking, Shazi Ilmi. Was there any chatter? Did something happen? Because he presided over the session today as well.
Yes, he did, and if you read his letter, he's clearly cited health reasons. So I think he would have deliberated upon this matter, and because he's clearly cited health reasons, I don't think we could attribute any other motive to his resignation. Of course, we wish him good health, and I'm sure he'll be fine soon. But the fact of the matter is that. I'm not at liberty, like Mr. Rajgopal, to speculate about who will replace him and whether it'll be a woman or a man. But the fact of the matter was that he is one person. I wouldn't say he spoke for the government, but he's a man who made his presence felt.
Okay.
He knew every rule in the book that you know of. And also the fact that the way he took on the judiciary was something quite... courageous and out of the box. I would not see very many vice presidents go to the level as he did by citing propriety at the level of the apex court and calling for transparency there and better ethical practices. And that is something that was makes him stand apart from everyone else. Okay. Because that's a huge call to
Okay. I'm not casting aspersions or attaching any motive, but he presided over the session on the first day of the monsoon session, and then all of a sudden you get this resignation letter. Mr. Rajgopalan wants to come in. Quickly, sir.
One thing which is very, very important, the cycle. President and vice president are elected on the same day and the same year. Now that will be spoiled. You understand?
Yes.
27 was the year fixed for August vice president, July president of India. Now the cycle is disturbed. So therefore, will it give a chance for Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, to put his own man, who is to be the BJP president as vice president of India? Is it delayed because of the BJP? These are all lot of questions and speculations will come up. My understanding is very clear.
Okay.
This will help Mr. Narendra Modi's hands to bring new things in the government of India, in the Council of Ministers, and it will any crisis, Mr. Narendra Modi will make it as an opportunity. As I have known him for a lot of years, this will also be a crisis for the government, also for the opposition. In the midst of the session, why
Absolutely.
Jagdeep Dhankhar did not resign yesterday? Why did he choose today?
Yes.
And moreover, he would have chosen tomorrow. And during presiding offices, he praised Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's birthday today morning. And he also said one MP has signed 2 times in the petition against disqualifying the Justice Verma. And is it connected with Mr. Abhishek Manu Singh's 50,000 rupees cash which was found? So these are all interesting points.
Interesting points and interesting questions that you're coming up with, Mr. Rajgopalan. Any questions on your mind, Sanjay Jha?
I would like to wish Mr. Dhankar a good health and a speedy recovery. And I think Mr. Rajagopalan is making some very explosive points. He is linking everything to some very internecine politics within the BJP. And if what he is saying is true, then the BJP is making a mockery of India's democracy by playing around with constitutional posts. Since Mr. Rajagopalan is a big supporter of the BJP, this is a very serious allegation against the government that there could be some kind of a deeper conspiracy behind all of it. That's shocking.
It's not
an
allegation.
Mr. Rajgopalan is saying it's not an allegation. Everything is in the realm of speculation at this point of time.
Rahul Gandhi also. He criticized Rahul Gandhi also.
Right. And as we speak, in fact, we've already started getting reactions. Mr. Kunal Ghosh has responded. Kunal Ghosh is responding to this resignation. He says, and I quote, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar's resignation is health the only reason. If so, get well soon. Otherwise, curiosity remains. Professor Tirunagari generated a lot of curiosity.
Swati, initially, though, I would like to say that we should respect the decision of Dhankarji. He has cited health reasons, and we all wish, I include all the panelists also here, that we all wish him a very speedy recovery and good health in the coming days. And I don't think this is the right time and the right, moment to talk about politics in his resignation, Swati. I would not call it sensible to talk politics in his resignation.
Tushar Gupta,
he has
your
cited
views?
health reasons, and probably coming days will understand what has happened or why isn't. Simple.
So I think we can only just have a lot of permutations and combinations now because India's vice president and BJP's president are going to be announced in the next 30 days. So all we can do at this point is just let the speculations take over. But look, if the health reports are no surprise. This was in the news for a long time now. So for anyone trying to sort of get too inquisitive or formulate any theories about the VP's resignation, I think they should just wait a little because his health was a concern. He had weakened over time, for all the banter he did in the Rajya Sabha. His health was always a sort of point of concern. And if the VP wants to take a step back, focus on his health, I think there should be no doubts that people shouldn't be sort of attaching some political motive to it. But yes, the next 1 month will be quite exciting. You'll have two important political appointments, one for the party, for the BJP, and one for the government of India. So let's see how that really works out. And, it's also someone who's going to take over as the Rajya Sabha chairman in the long run. In the short run, it's of course going to be the deputy chairman in the ongoing session. But in the long run, you're also looking at the new chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So I think there are a lot of permutations and combinations. We'll all have to sit down
Permutations
and
and combinations, apart from that, a lot of questions as well, क्योंकि आनंद दुबे जी इससे पहले कभी ऐसा हुआ नहीं और मॉनसून सेशन की शुरुआत ही हुई है पहले सेशन को उन्होंने प्रिसाइड भी किया उसके बाद उनका रेजिग्नेशन हेल्थ रीजंस का हवाला वो दे रहे हैं कि मेडिकल एडवाइस उनको इस तरह की मिली और उस पर ध्यान देते हुए उन्होंने तय किया कि उनके लिए यही सही फैसला था लेकिन ऑपोजिशन में रिएक्शंस आने शुरू हो गए जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कुणाल घोष कह रहे हैं कि अगर तो हेल्थ रीजन है तो ठीक है जल्दी ठीक हो जाइए और नहीं तो बहुत क्यूरियोसिटी इस पर लोगों को होने लगी है
देखिए एक चालू डिबेट जब हमारी डिबेट चल रही है तब उनका लेटर आया है आप ही के माध्यम से हमें पता चला कि उन्होंने अपना इस्तीफा दे दिया और ये बताया कि मैं स्वस्थ नहीं हूं तो अब इस पर क्या कहें आप ही बताइए अब मतलब हम तो यही कहेंगे कि जल्दी स्वस्थ हो जाए जल्दी ठीक हो जाए भले पद पे न रहे
नहीं कहने को तो आनंद दुबे जी बहुत सारी चीजें हो सकती हैं कि जैसे अब अगला वाइस प्रेसिडेंट जो भी होगा उनसे आपकी क्या उम्मीदें हैं या जैसे कुणाल घोष कह रहे हैं कि अगर हेल्थ रीजन है तब तो ठीक वरना उनको ऐसा लग रहा है कि इसके पीछे कुछ और भी हो सकता है अगर आप रिएक्ट करना चाहें तो
अरे तो कुणाल घोष 140 करोड़ में एक व्यक्ति हैं उन्होंने कुछ कह दिया तो क्या पर अब इस पर चर्चा शुरू हो जाएगी हमारा ये कहना है कि थोड़ा धैर्य रखें अब एक प्रोसीजर है कि प्रोसीजर से फिर नए उपराष्ट्रपति हमें मिलेंगे हम ये उम्मीद करेंगे कि वो सबको साथ लेकर चलेंगे
नहीं देखिए एक साधारण व्यक्ति नहीं है कुणाल घोष जब राजनीतिक हलकों के लोग इस तरह की बात करते हैं तो क्यूरियोसिटी जनरेट होती है कि अगले व्यक्ति को पता नहीं क्या पता है जो इस तरह की बात कर रहा है मिस्टर राजगोपालन वांट्स टू कम इन
And moreover, Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, the tallest leader from Rajasthan, and he has a vote, from one particular Jat community. Apart from that, Swati, Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar very recently moved into the Central Vista house, the bungalow, very, very recently. And he was very kind enough to invite some few journalists, and I was also one among them. He was very interacting with them. He has shown the house very profusely, very happily. He was showing that. Apart from that, he is going to get one, type 8 makan, vagara, vagara. He's going to be in Delhi. He will definitely be in the legal profession. He will definitely be in the politics. But what made him to resign today after presiding over? That is my question. He should have already indicated to the Prime Minister 2-3 days ago and Vice President should have also not gone to President of India to say that. He cannot surprise President of India with writing a letter.
All right.
He have already taken her.
Okay, all right. Mr. Rajagopalan, please stay on with us. We have Kalyan Banerjee joining us on the broadcast. Kalyan Banerjee, your first reaction to this development?
I have heard it, but she was really unwell for a few months. And I have taken his resignation on its face value. He has stated that he is unwell. Therefore, I would not pass any other comments because if he is unwell and he has decided to resign, it must be something wrong with his health. I take it in this way.
Okay.
I pray before the God that whether he remains vice president or not remain vice president, he should remain well.
Yes.
Physically remain well. That's my reaction, and I take it on its face value. I do not think anything otherwise at this stage.
Okay, all right. Kalyan Banerjee, thank you very much for speaking with us. That was TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee, who says that Jagdeep Dhankar, the Vice President, who has, of course, stepped down, resigned now, was not well for the past couple of days. That's what Kalyan Banerjee is claiming. This has come as a shock to many. The big question, of course, is who will be the next Vice President? What next? And we leave you with that question. Thanking all our guests. Thank you very much. And thank you to you for watching the debate.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.